Waiting for the whirligig to stop. Good morning. We have coffee and we have Panda. So hope this finds you doing good. It's a little after the halfway point for us. Wednesdays are the hurdle usually, but I have meetings and I have live stream at night, but I don't do the Wednesday morning writing stream right now. I'm going to start that back probably in January though. I'm debating. Okay. So I kind of like my Wednesday mornings. So we'll see. It depends on what I'm doing as far as client work and that kind of thing. So we will see. But today is de-stressing and
I missed.
Okay. De-stressing. De-stressing and clearing and decluttering and which is something I've been doing a lot of. And I am past a couple of things on my plate and now back to working on the apartment. We have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,700 square foot apartment with a 2-car garage that we lived in for about 12 years. And we had to shove it into under 1,000 square foot apartment. If you're an artist, you know the struggle. But I've had my own business for 40 years, and I still can't believe it's going to be 40 years next year. But a lot of stuff, a lot of art supplies. So yes, KonMari method, Marie Kondo, ignoring her on the books because ain't nobody got time for that. And Swedish death cleaning has been a thing. So it's Swedish death cleaning is mainly where you realize that your relatives are not going to want all your crap. So getting rid of it, cleaning, clearing.
Have you seen Swedish houses?
Yes.
There's like 3 pieces of furniture in a living room.
Yeah, very minimalist for the most part. I know some artists who their studios will never be minimalist. I'm okay with that. But the idea of cozy, the idea of being at home in your living space, the idea that with the Swedish death cleaning, not carrying stuff for other people. In my case, my daughter would shoot me because all my art supplies and all my sketchbooks, especially, she has requested. She has a list of people to farm stuff out to if she wants to. But leaving that, that decision to her with the exception of, specific items. I feel like I'm at the halfway point because my grandmother was 103 and my mom's just turned 92. I just turned 56. And God willing, knock on wood, I will be here for many more years to come. But I don't want to saddle my family with this stuff. So, and I want to be able to think clearer because clutter does coincide with stress. So de-stressing is very, very important. I know this time of year, we're especially kind of nesting and trying to make the house cozy because of the holidays, but it's also winter, which is time for the deep work for me. And I know the most of the apartment is all my stuff, but you have your bookshelves and your collections of little things like your miniatures and stuff
that have been put away.
Not all of them.
The ones in displays, the ones in displays are not.
A lot to dust.
But everything got put into containers.
Yeah.
like I said, I made armies out of those two.
Mm-hmm.
So all of them went into those containers because now
Mm-hmm.
I have armies to play games with. So those are separated. But short of the ones that are metal that need to be in some kind of airtight thing, which are the ones on my desk as displays, I don't really have any of the other ones out anymore because they.
You have to dust everything too often.
Well, yeah. Well, I have to dust under everything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
The cases that he uses for his minis are actually dice cube containers.
They're just the ones
just recycled dice cube containers.
The 7 sets of dice come in,
Yeah.
So
which is pretty handy.
Plastic ones that people use for whatever, holding up a miniature or displaying a miniature in the case afterwards once the dice have been removed.
And we've both cleared a lot of books. And I think the rule with that is not so much how many you have. For us, I've donated 800 pounds of books. I have probably 1,200 pounds of books still, and or at least between the two of us. And although you've got all the hardcover gaming books, so that's probably another 600 pounds right there. But it's about the ones that get utilized. I have a pretty good sized children's book collection that there's very few, if any, that I would part with, mostly because they're inspiration for me. They're part of my childhood. They're part of the reason why I do what I do. I have those, and then I have books on making books, and then I have RPGs, and I've gone through, but I've really culled my fiction. If I haven't read it, if it's been on my to be read list for more than 6 months, it's gone. And so just finding what's useful, finding what brings you joy really is a thing. The clothing thing cracks me up because I did it once when we were in Florida where I pulled everything out of all the closets, did laundry, pulled all that, just, and you're supposed to put it in one big pile in the living room. And you don't realize how many clothes you have until you've pulled everything. And I actually need to do that again because I've dropped 130 pounds, not for good reasons. Don't congratulate me. But stuff doesn't fit me anymore. And not because I was hanging on to it because, hey, if I lose weight, I can wear this again. It's like, if I lose weight, I'm going to want new stuff. I don't want to, or thrifted stuff. Like this one was thrifted for $1 at our local place. But it's all one piece. So the sweater's got the shirt sewn inside of it. So
yeah, there's a couple of stitches that hold the whole thing together.
Yeah. And you've got, I found him some, one in particular, a Van Heusen shirt that still had the tag on it, over there. So we love our local thrift stores, but, just figuring out what brings you joy, what's get utilitarian, especially if you have an art studio, figure out what it is that you actually use, what you actually need. I do mixed media collage, so I use a lot of different things. And sorry about the lighting. We do have the curtain in here now, but the light bothers him for the ring light, so I have to keep it over to the side. So he's man of mystery and shadow over here. But what are some of the things that this time of year, especially, not necessarily tied to holidays, but holidays are good too. What are some of the things that make this place feel cozy for you?
Well, the first thing I do this time of year is, probably within, by the end of the first week of December, I think I pulled the stockings out to put out in the living room out there, and everything. And then, we've got strings of lights over a couple of the windows in the apartment, so I'll like plug those in a couple of nights just to kind of be like, yeah, okay, we're in the mood for this, and then about 2 to 3 weeks into December, probably do this sometime early next week, I think, like after the weekend, after we've done the other show and everything. I will probably make a batch of pizzellis for the 4 or 5 days right before Christmas. Hello.
Good morning, Marianne. Well, afternoon.
I will repeat that real quick in case you just popped in.
Like I said, what are the things that make cozy?
A couple of things that I do this time of year just to begin to acknowledge that it's this season. We have a couple of strings of lights around the apartment. I'll go ahead and plug those in for the first time. I bring our stockings out into the living room, and
we have a fake fireplace.
About 3 or 4, probably Tuesday,
probably Sunday,
probably Tuesday. Well, probably Tuesday or Wednesday, I would say.
Yeah,
this coming week. Usually within a week of Christmas. Usually is when I like to do them. I'll make pizzellis. We've got the pizzelli maker out there. And I'll go ahead and put a big bowl of the batter together for that, and I'll make pizzellis.
I'm spoiled. They're very good.
Yes.
We've done chocolate rum, peppermint.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have anise one time and did 5 spice, and those were good.
Yeah.
The regular anise ones, I can't think we've done any more. I found a recipe for coconut ones. Might be good.
I thought I remember when we had the imitation rum extract that we used for that one, the one batch. I put cocoa powder in the ones to make the chocolate ones the one time.
Mm-hmm. They're tasty, and I'm always out there like, oh, this one's not perfectly round. Let's break off this little piece.
I think I added. I think I added little bit of extra sugar to that batch just because the cocoa powder, the baking
cocoa powder will soak it up.
The baker's chocolate has like no sugar of its own.
Very bitter.
So I put an extra, I think, maybe at most 1/4 of a cup of extra sugar.
Yeah.
At most.
Yeah.
Because it
makes like 40.
Because it'll stiffen the batter when you add that extra sugar.
I remember.
So I was like, I don't want to have to add more milk or something like that to it to soften everything up.
Yeah, we had to. One year we experimented and we were like, nope, not doing that again.
I think I did. I think we added extra milk last year just to see how the batter would come out because it was just so stiff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's so lighting. White lights are a thing for me too. We don't have, like, growing up with me, it was music. We have a record player. We don't have a whole lot of LPs. I have some that were my mom's, including one called The Sounds of Christmas. That's part of our kind of tradition. It's got sound effects on one side, and then there's a narrator telling us the story, and you can hear him and his family talking about what they're going to do, and the dogs are caroling, and they have carolers come by, and they're wrapping presents, and you hear all the sound effects, and you hear them making popcorn, and you hear them, so it was just kind of a cool thing to have in the background while we were wrapping presents growing up. We don't have a stereo. I have a sound bar, so I'm definitely going to be like, putting on some Christmas lo-fi or some of the classic stuff. But I found some really good lo-fi and some really good, recently, some violin music and some really just veg out kind of work. I have a work playlist, a chill playlist, a calm playlist, which is different. I have a playlist for for he and I for stuff that we find. I have an app on my phone called Shazam that will, like, if you're out somewhere and you hear a piece of music, like you're in Starbucks or you're in a cafe or you're out in the bookstore or something and you hear something and you really want to know what that song is, hit Shazam and it'll listen and find it for you. And then you can link to YouTube, Spotify, wherever. So,
It definitely works best when the coffee shop isn't crowded with people.
actually, it'll pick up
Yeah.
over some pretty loud stuff I found. My mom's favorite LP is the soundtrack from Dark Shadows. Nice.
Ooh.
I'm gonna have to look that up now. I'm gonna have to listen to that. There's a bunch of stuff I would love to get as LP, but that's a whole nother expense. And LPs are not cheap. They're like 40, 50, 60 bucks now for any of the newer stuff, especially if I can find them in thrift stores. There are a couple of places that I'll source LPs. We have a used place in Lexington, and there's McKay's Books down in Knoxville, which I want to go make another run. It's like a Walmart sized used bookstore, and the whole second floor is LPs. So I don't know what pricing it is, but I would definitely thrift anything like that. But music to set the mood, instrumentals especially, and lo-fi is a thing for sure. But being able to just put a few white lights up. And I'm big on, once it starts getting cold, those lights go on. I don't necessarily wait for December. I'm usually like, honey.
No, yeah, they were on 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I had the ones in the bedroom on like 2 weeks ago.
And it just makes things cozy. And white lights are cheap. So, you can grab them at Walmart and they're $2-3 a strand.
I would leave them on in there with my desk lamp.
But you got one plug.
If I didn't have the one plug on that wall.
Yeah.
I would just leave them both on this time of year for a couple hours at a time at least.
Yeah.
Nothing extravagant, but
and little decorations. And I do a lot of handmade snowflakes and stuff. Like I did snowflakes on live stream last night. We did experiments, and I just did the square paper ones. Some did not turn out very well, and I realized that my snowflake skill is lacking. But I was pulling off different patterns that I had found, and so doing little varieties of things and playing around with it. This last one I did, I'm calling it my chaos house, which it definitely is because it keeps getting stuck on stuff. So the inside looks like a chaos. Actually, it looks like a shuriken. It's funny. So I did it so that it looked kind of like trees in a little village. So it's my chaos village. But my Game of Thrones books for McKay's in Knoxville when I lived in that area. Oh, cool. Yeah, McKay's is pretty good. There's a restaurant around the corner, Aubrey's at the Paper Mill, that does, bless you, that does incredible fish and chips. They're so good. And we found Black Horse Vanilla Cream Ale. I am not a beer person, and I love the crap out of this stuff. Unfortunately, you can only get it in Tennessee. So the next time we go down, we've already made plans to pick up a case and bring it back because we have all our friends wanting to try it. And unfortunately, for some reason, they won't bring it into the state. Or I haven't been able to find it anywhere. Most people I talk to don't even know about it. But cozy food, cozy drink, we'll get, if we don't already have one, we'll get a bottle of wine or get stuff to make wassail or some kind of spice. Like I've got Alpine Spice, hot apple cider. I'm not so much spring cleaning as I am fall. That's when I start nesting. and it's just making your home a sanctuary away from everything else. And if you actually got an invite to my house, to our apartment, your inner sanctum. I am very selective about who I let come in my door. Um, and I think safeguarding that wellness and that um, holding space for yourself is really important, especially if you work from home, because um, it can go bad really quickly. If you work where you live, but having that separation and having that downtime space is really important. So I'm wanting to do, I've got a chaise love seat combo in the living room, and I want to make the area around my chaise a little more reading nook kind of friendly. Blankets and pillows, and we've got the stuffed animal pillows, and we've got the big rabbits and stuff for if you know my Twitch live stream. But just not so much focusing on, like, I'm still purging stuff, but I'm focusing more on what I'm keeping than what I'm getting rid of. And it's that little bit of Jedi mind trick, a little bit of, switched perspective, is helping me stay motivated and getting back into, because for a long time, it was overwhelming. I was just like, I cannot deal with this right now. I've got too much work to do. I might, pull a few things if I see something, or on a day when I just get fed up looking at it. I've got a couple of boxes started at the front door to be able to, get that out of here next time we do a bookstore run. Squishmallows was a topic of discussion on a friend's live this morning. I had to Google it to see what they were. You didn't know what squishmallows were? No. I have one rabbit. It's a rainbow one. It's on the. I think it's on the chair. I think it's on the chair out there.
I will look.
It's the white marshmallow looking with the.
Yes, I know.
Yeah. I have one. I want to say I have a small one too. I need to look. Oh, okay, I see it. I have, I think, a Yeti. It should be there on the chair, towards the fireplace. It might be under the big rabbit. I know it's on the chair. I have a 48-inch rabbit from Jellycat, which Jellycat is a thing. This is a Jellycat, but I have a big, huge one. In fact, bring the big one.
The big what?
The rabbit.
The large rabbit.
The big rabbit. Yeah. Speaking of cozy. Speaking of cozy. So we have a podcast guest here. You can be the keeper of the rabbit. He's very cozy. I got him when I was teaching a lot. With the COVID explosion of stuff. Here we go. Still want to see Panda. So cozy is a thing. Yeah, he's 48 inches. It's the biggest one they have. And he has become a prop in our Thursday night game, because I have my character, Professor Jessa Marai, is the head of the tech department. Think Buffy the Vampire Slayer, only late 80s, early 90s college. and she's the head of the tech department. Issa teases me that I'm actually playing myself because I'm doing all the things that I was doing in real life that time. And she has a moon rabbit that was a tattoo that jumped off her arm when her mythos started coming out. So she's got full tattoo sleeves, and there's a couple things like the chicken hut, hint, hint, because her mythos is Baba Yaga. So Leshki, which is her pet rabbit, who's my other size one that I have that's about 12, 18 inches.
12 to 15, yeah. 15 to 18.
And so I joked around with the rabbit is going to double in size and it's going to go sit on this person because we were trying to get somebody in the group that wasn't, in fact, I think it was Issa's character, that we were trying to keep her calm. So I had Leshki go over and sit on her, and she's like, "Oh, that's not going to be big enough or whatever." And then Leshki increased in size, and I brought this one out, and everybody lost it. So now I have a couple of different sizes that we play with, but she's great for, sitting on the couch, snuggling up with and reading and, doing the cozy thing. And that's different for everybody. Some, whatever your definition of cozy is, go for it. Don't, let anybody tell you that it's.
Speaking of, what is specific. The coffee this morning?
Oh, the coffee
is
caramel
mocha.
Yeah, caramel mocha with eggnog.
With eggnog.
So yes. You can go ahead and take it back out.
Mm-hmm. I can do that.
But yeah, just maybe cozy clothing. Like I have. Speaking of Baba Yaga, I'm in my Baba Yaga phase. It's not a phase. That is in the Printify shop, which I'll have a link to. My definition of cozy presently is being surrounded by all kinds of yarn here by my chair in the camper. Heck yes.
There you go.
Cozy crafts. So I actually start wanting to sew this time of year, and I start wanting to paint more. Like I did ornaments that I've been playing with these wood pieces. That's actually a rubber stamp. It's my design. It's on the back of my sigils book, and I was very happy to learn that I could actually stamp on the wood pieces. So I made a few with this new copper paint that I have. Do I have that over here? Nope, I put it away. And was playing around with these on live stream one night. Thank you. So just kind of doodling, and that actually had a painted piece on it, and I didn't like it, and I tore it off, but it didn't tear off all the way, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I'll leave it on there. I think this one's my favorite, but I can actually draw with the micron pens right on it. So I have a whole big stack of these in here that I'm going to play with and do some just random stuff. Designing a turtleneck poncho. Oh, cool. I love turtlenecks. I think a lot of it is because when you get older, you get this whole, like, my mom used to call it turkey neck. So I like covering it. But turtlenecks have always been a favorite. Scarves are about the extent of my ability. I do use hoops, and I can do hats. My fingers don't want to work crochet. Yeah, the elderly waddle. I'm not quite elderly yet, but getting there, feels like, because of the other health issues. But yeah, just whatever de-stresses you. Knitting is very zen for me with the hoops, and playing cards, like playing solitaire, is very restructure your brain kind of de-stress. making time to spend time with friends to do board game night, or which we're doing Sunday. I'm at least a decade or more older than you, so my waddle is waffle. um, I didn't think you were that much older than me. Maybe? Okay. I just turned 56. No. Okay. I didn't think you were that much older than me. That's crazy. When is your, well, we'll get into that later, but make sure you send me your birthday so I have your birthday. That's one of the things that's cozy for me is writing letters. And I've gotten back into the pen pal thing recently. Val and I used to write letters back and forth to each other. Even when we were in the same house in Florida there for a little while, we would write love letters to each other. And I'd send them from the post office and he'd send them from the house or whatever. And it was nice to get a little piece of mail because he wooed me into languages, poetry when he was living in Arizona when we first met. So, but what's some of the things that you do to de-stress as far as just like, I know taking a walk, like if you get anxious about things.
Yeah. This time of year, it's hard too because the weather's garbage here sometimes, especially when it's wet. Because then it's just too cold for me to take a walk more than like past the end of the street.
The mailbox.
Yeah. But yeah, I like to take a walk, especially in the fall. Like I said, 2 weeks ago, it was perfect. I was able to walk like every morning. It was beautiful. Even at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It was beautiful. Like I said, this time of year, it's harder because the weather outside is a little more harsh.
Yeah. So what replaces that if you can't go for a walk? What are some of the things? Cooking.
Yeah. It has to. It's the only thing I can do inside, other than, I've got really 3 parts of the house that I can occupy at any given time. The kitchen's one of them. My desk is the other, and the living room is the other one. So,
yeah, studio's kind of a one butt kitchen, with the exception of being able to sit here with me. And
so I put a lot of thought into what am I making for dinner tonight. If I'm making lunch too, if I'm making sandwiches or something like that at lunchtime, I'll usually jump on that too, just so we're not like going from the morning until dinner with nothing.
Yeah, we both. He's my second brain sometimes, and I have to.
Yesterday, I made those tomato sandwiches, and those were outstanding. So.
Yes. Tomato sandwiches were a summer thing growing up. So it's a very simple thing to make. And we have feta cheese right now. So for me to de-stress, I usually head up to bed with a book on my tablet and snuggle Miss Mila. Yeah. We don't have pets right now. It's something I definitely want to get once we've got a house. But here in the apartment, it's not practical. We're looking to move sometime this next year to New Albany, Indiana. But the big thing is funding. So still working on that. I probably would have moved us in October, not January. They're pushing our lease to February because they're upping the rent, and so we don't re-sign our lease until February. But it would, if I could get the funding, I would probably move in January, but I'm sure the weather would be crap for that. So she's a bit of a big dog in the camper, but she's stuck with me for life. She's 6 years old now. What breed? And likely she will be my last dog. Yeah. I had my Stephanie for 14 years and I had TJ for 13. The boxer. So cute. Yeah, we pets were always very zen for me and very like Stephanie if she could tell she was my emotional support cat pretty much before that was a thing. And she was my familiar for sure. And if I was stressed out, she'd come over and just like she she would come over and like occupy me. She would not only sit on my lap, but she was big. She was 26 pounds, built like a small mountain lion. So she would sit her butt in my lap and she'd come up here and tuck her paws under and stick her face like right here on my chin. And it would force me to breathe a certain way. It would force me to slow down because I had this weighted blanket on my chest, basically. Yeah, the Maine Coons. I've got a friend they have two Maine Coons that are shop cats, Horophony and Hedge up in Covington. And I don't seem to be allergic to them. I didn't think they were. I mean, there's no animal that's actually hypoallergenic, but Bichon Frise is the one dog I know that I'm not allergic to. And um, the which I always joked I wanted to get a Bichon Frise, but I want to get a haircut like a Westie. And if somebody asked me what breed of dog it was, I was going to tell them it was a Bichon Frise. But the Maine Coons didn't seem to bother me when we were there, so I've been thinking about that. The other one I like is the Norwegian Forest Cat. But yeah, they both get like size of a medium dog. Um, so I don't know that it depends on the size of what we're doing, but yeah, just whatever brings you joy, hold space for yourself, do it for yourself. You're going to be better for public consumption with the people around you if you're less stressed. And if you can't help yourself, you're not going to be able to help anybody else. With us, it's we've got our last show on Saturday, which is the International Book Project's Sip and Shop, which is one of our favorite events. Issa is going to be with us too. So we're both going to be tabling, and we've got a friend that's going to be tabling with us next to us that we get to see. And it's in a bookstore. How can you not have fun in a bookstore? The problem is I'm going to want to take half the bookstore home. So they usually actually have a few things that are cool, but their hardcovers are $5 and their paperbacks are $3. So I'm going to make a list of specific things that I'm looking for though, before we go, just
say write
so that I'm not
specific
randomly.
authors. Yeah, write specific authors down.
Yeah, but it's a small bookstore. Our apartment's bigger than that whole front section. But they have a huge warehouse and they ship books all over the world in cargo containers, and they will fill bookcases full of books, shrink wrap them, and then ship them off to people, families in all over Appalachia, and Africa, Europe. There's just so many places that they send stuff to, and they've always been good to us as far as doing the shows, and I get an invite every year for it, so it's fun. But once that's over on Saturday, Sunday is decompressing, Sunday is more decorating, Sunday is we've got a friend coming over, and I actually don't have our little tree out yet, so our little tree will probably come up later today. And his name's Winston. That's what his name is on the box. So Winston is coming out today, and Winston already has lights. So we're going to do pull out some more lights. I'm probably going to pick up another strand of white lights to put in here. I have some colored ones that I can put on the bookcase. So we're going to cozy it up in here too. But play music, even if it's in your headset. Find things, make time to read, make time to do the things that you love because life is too freaking short. This whole year flew by and it's only going to get faster as I get older. So, make time for the important stuff. That's the biggest part. And if KonMari works for you, if Swedish death cleaning works for you, if one of those systems works for you, I definitely suggest there is something to the KonMari stuff as far as doing one thing at a time, as far as like all the clothing, all the books, all the, doing that kind of thing. I could not pull all of my books out into one room. That I just, no.
No. I am a sci-fi reader, and I too much believe that there are forces out there that prevent us from, or that want to prevent us from having knowledge, having a certain amount of knowledge.
Mm.
And I will own physical copies of my books, the things that I feel are important for historical reasons and otherwise. Things like certain sci-fi books, things like 1984, and other things, unrelated, but
history repeating itself, kind of stuff.
When they try to alter the record, that's where I get angry.
Yeah, that's actually been coming up a lot more.
As a teacher, as someone who grew up always doing well in history and reading a lot to learn more about it and going out of my way, it's upsetting. Burying what came before so that you can't learn from it later is a mistake.
Yeah.
So
and we will never have, like, I will do ebooks and I will do audiobooks, but those are the audiobooks. We have copies of the books and we listen to the audio as we read, which is something he started doing and then I started doing it. And I read fast and my retention is crap. And that actually helps slow me down and helps me to remember and absorb stuff more. And that actually does the opposite for him. He remembers everything because he reads slower, but doing the audiobooks will help him read just a little bit faster. And I think it helps your retention too. But
when I had implemented it, when I was reading Book of the New Sun by Gene Wolfe, I had a narrated audiobook of the story. I would let the audiobook play, and then I would open the book to where he was reading, and I would follow along with my finger, so I was reading the same thing. So I was reading along with it, almost like the old children read along books, right? So I'm reading this novel while I'm hearing it in my headset, and that really helped me. And it also let me finish the book in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Because I was going at the pace of the audiobook. So, reading 2 hours a night.
Yeah. So any way you can do it, do it. I can't do audiobooks as my brain shows me the movie and how I hear the voices in books. Yeah. I have found over the years that I cannot watch the movie first because if I do, I won't read the book. It's harder for me to get into the book. Because now if it's the other way around, I have no issue with that. But yeah, there was a certain series that we'd watch or whatever, and reading the book just wasn't going to work for me after that. But the important thing is, keeping your space at a manageable level so you don't get overwhelmed. Look at the clutter as, are you hiding from something? It's not just not having the time to deal with it, but we use clutter as, especially neurodivergent people. It's clutter is a cocoon, and but it also works against you, because it makes it harder to think clearly, and because your body's processing too much. Even if, like, I have my bookshelves all organized and everything, because I have so many books, if I don't break it up with some of the books go this way and a couple of knickknacks or something, if I just do this straight across the whole way, it's too much of a cognitive load for me. So having it broken up a little bit and having some little cozy things in there helps with that. But what?
You made me rearrange that shelf when I had like put all those books on the one shelf out there
Yeah.
in the living room.
Yeah.
You came out, you looked at it, you were like, my eyes glaze over when I look at it. Like
Yeah.
because I had them all that way.
Yeah.
And you had me go through and kind of rearrange, break
Yeah.
up, kind of stack things that were similar. And I mean, which is fine. I've done that before. I had to do that with my sci-fi in there once it reached a certain volume. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. My dad used to have barrister cabinets, and it, has the glass front that comes down over the books, and it makes it, instead of multiple items, it makes it one item. So your brain registers it as one box, one cabinet kind of thing. But holding space for yourself, making cozy spots, yeah, very visual reader. Issa and I both are. Val is too, I think. But it's really important that you have a space that's separate, even if it's just a chair, um, to be able to kind of decompress, and talk to people. I know it's hard for some people to talk to other people if they're stressed out, but journal, art journaling is, even if you don't do art, just getting messy with, you know, paint, or get a cheap color watercolor kit kind of thing, and just, you know, color a page one color and then write over it or something. Um, there's a lot of different ways to do it, and it doesn't have to be perfect, and it doesn't have to be anything that anybody else sees. Same thing with your writing. So my bookcases were always sorted by author alphabetically, with each book in order of release. You're more OCD than I am. I worked in bookstores, and I'm not. I've got it by section. Like I've got, like if I'm writing on a specific topic, then that shelf will be all those books, so I can go in and do reference for that one. I have a shelf in here from November, which I'm about to redo for December, that was all writing books, because I was attempting No Not Rimo through free write. Um, I think I wrote 500 words the entire month, probably. It was just too busy to actually do it. And each shelf is designated by author with no other author. I would probably
I don't have enough books to do that.
like your bookshelves. My brain does not work like that here. I I I'm not so much, I guess, by topic.
Yeah,
But
I would say subject matter.
yeah.
Because you've got like writing over there.
Yeah, like
and
I
then
have
it's all the authors that have this to say about writing.
Yeah, so I have like children's books, paper art, Firefly stuff for the brown coats, which is books and other things, sewing, and it's stuff specific to in here. And then I have the one shelf on the backside that's writing, and then I have more writing out there. My favorite authors. Bedroom has all the witchy stuff, as far as the books. And then by inside the door to the bedroom, I have this, it's not really an altar space, but I have a plant. I have some artwork on the wall, and then I have like all of my Christmas and Yule books and that kind of thing. So I have like a little seasonal kind of thing pick out a tarot deck, maybe set it up there, have a couple of different things. Something green, some kind of plant. Plants are important. In Tennessee, I had 5 bookcases in the living room and 4 in what was supposed to be the dining room that I made into my reading room. Cool. All my books are current still in totes in storage because I don't have room here in the camper for books. Ooh, you need like one little basket. One little tiny basket. We actually thought about doing the not necessarily doing the van life thing, but I would definitely do a van built out like that and do weekend trips like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, just take off and go for a few days, that kind of thing. But I don't want to live out of one. I'd rather have a house that I can dig in some roots. So that's what we're looking to do in New Albany eventually. But I presently only read it on my tablet as it's easier for me to hold than a physical book. I have Audible on my phone, and we'll put the affiliate link down there, but I have Audible on my phone that I listen to stuff to. I try not to read ebooks. I have them for reference, but I try not to read ebooks because I'm constantly looking at screens for work, even on my phone. So books through Kindle Unlimited. Nice. Yeah, I've got a ton of books when they're like Amazon. I think it's Amazon. One of them has a pick a free read, might be Kindle, where you get a free read each month, but I think it comes with my Prime. So I've gotten books that way. Again, if it's something that I really want to read and it's important to me, then I'll get the audiobook to go with the regular book. But that's something that I'm making more time for this year, is for reading, because I haven't sat and just pleasure read forever. We're actually setting aside time 2 days a week to work on writing stuff together. And I think having it scheduled, what gets scheduled gets done. So I think setting us an actual schedule a couple of days a week to just sit and read would probably be a good idea too. Or even just, first thing in the morning, we have our little rituals that we do, like stretching and breathing exercises and that kind of thing, in the morning. And then, coffee together. Sometimes we'll watch one of my Patreon people that I follow. But we're going a little long with this episode, but we're actually having conversation, so it's good. But we are going to go ahead and wrap up, and we'll make it a solid hour this time. But cozy is a big topic, especially this time of year. And if you don't celebrate Christmas, you don't celebrate Yule, make time for yourself, make your own holiday. Cozy drinks, cozy music, good books, favorite movies, Hallmark cozy movies. We watch those, and it's some we make fun of.
That's what I really like Yola Book Afloat for, because it's not really looking at like, oh, there's this particular religious entity, or there's Santa Claus, or whatever you call it from where you live. You're just gifting a book to somebody, and then you all sit there, you eat, and you eat chocolate and read.
Yeah, it was like,
so you have an excuse to read on
claim this holiday
Christmas
because
Eve
I
night.
am part Icelandic, according to my DNA. So I have claimed the holiday. I usually do a live once in a week. Did one yesterday, included stories of 2 episodes of me becoming a turtle. Okay, I'm gonna have to watch your stream. I have pulled up a couple of them, and then that's the other thing, is I'm making time each week, one day a week. I'm gonna sit and I'm gonna just go through and catch up on friends' videos, because when I'm on Twitch, unless I raid somebody, I'm not on Twitch watching stuff. I'm not on YouTube watching stuff. And I really want to get in the habit of being more of a support to people and actually, reciprocating the watch love. One was me as a love seal turtle, and the second was me as a wheelchair turtle. Okay, you're gonna have to tell me about this in Discord, but I'm gonna have to take a look.
It's also the Winter's Day Festival in Guild Wars.
Oh yeah, and gaming, cozy gaming,
one of the only games I play actually has a Christmas adjacent schedule festival that it puts out. It started like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And it runs through January 2nd. So
yeah.
So you can go get Winter's Day gift boxes and try to foil toy master ticks.
Yeah.
With that.
PAX actually just announced that they're doing a big Yule festival that's going to run for a month, and I'm excited about it because we're going to be able to craft stuff, including a Yule Bach. So we are going to be able to.
I was going to say, where is your goat?
So this little guy, adorable. Logan had one of these, and it's the petting zoo makes them, and he's super soft. And Logan had him, and when I was really sick one time or in the hospital or whatever, he actually brought him over to cheer me up. He's like, "You can borrow him, and you can crochet one of those." I don't have enough money to send you yarn. All the things I want to make. I need to learn how to do granny squares. That's one of the cozy things I want to do. I want to make it a cozy thing. So, but you're gonna be able to craft a Yule Bach in the game and all the decorations and everything, but everything you get to keep what you make. So I'm gonna be crafting a bunch of stuff, but the recipes will go away until it's like the spirit of the holidays comes in. You're allowed to do all of this stuff, and then you're not going to be able to do it anymore after that. So it'll come around each time. Super easy and a little thought working them up. Yeah. I might have to sit with you and pick your brain and do that, because that one crochet person that I found, Claw Crochet, she's in, I think her name's Claire. She's in Italy, and I bought a pattern for one of her pieces, and it's literally 2 huge granny squares and then 2 down the arms, and that's it. And I really want to learn how to make it because I want to crank that sucker out in every color, because I honestly think I would rock that one, which is saying a lot for me because my self-esteem is not that great. But we are going to wrap it up now. Thank you so much for hanging out and doing the chat thing and listening to us ramble, mainly me. Today was just kind of a, what do we want to talk about? Oh, I'm going to do this. I kind of throw it together last minute. It's been a busy week, and we just did 2 crows, and then I've got the last show on Saturday. Hugs and smooches. Love you both. It's been fun. Love you. It's so good to see you. It's like, wait, where am I? Okay.
Right, yeah. It's the mime.
The mime. No. No. I actually did mime thing in high school. We had to do it for theater. But anyway, stay well, stay safe, wear your mask, wash your hands, take care of each other. We will see you next Thursday for the next episode. I promise it'll be a little more organized, because I won't have any shows or anything eating my brain. And my next live stream is going to be Monday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's gaming, because we have a show at International Book Project in Lexington from 11 to 3 on Saturday. So if you are local and you're watching this, feel free to stop by and say hi, and we will talk to you later. Love y'all.